Hey, everybody. This is Jack Topalian with the ADU Resource Center in Glendale. Welcome to our May webinar. I'm joined today with Mike
Michael,
C.
how's
How
it
are
going?
you?
How's it going, everybody?
Good. I hope everybody's having a good evening and a great start to the month of May. Now, I know most of you that have joined us in the past are used to seeing Danny Johnson conduct these webinars, but he wasn't available today, so I am stepping in and I hope I could do it justice. So welcome, everyone. Welcome to the ADU Resource Center May webinar. Well, why don't we just get started? Jump right into it.
Let's go.
One of the reasons we do these webinars is to inform people out there who are planning on building an ADU or are thinking about possibly building an ADU and so forth. And some of these questions do come up. Is the ADU a right thing for me, and why do I want an ADU? I mean, there's a lot of things that we have to understand what an ADU is and why we can kind of go about doing it. And most of the times the questions come up is, well, yes, I think I want to build an ADU, but how do I get started? And what's step one? What's step two? Who do I talk to? And so forth and so on. So hopefully today we will be able to answer some of those questions for you guys. All right.
Very good. Let's get to it.
Yeah. Everything starts with the planning process. We have to plan everything out ahead of time in order to have a great product at the end. So some of the questions we need to ask ourselves is, who is the ADU for? This is a very important question. Who is the ADU for? Because a lot of times people are asking us about, people are considering, I want to build an ADU because I want to have it for rental income, or I have elderly parents that I want to have living on the property.
Mm-hmm.
Or like in my case, I have an ADU in my own home and I have, kids who are finished with college. They're not quite ready for the world yet, but they can't quite afford to be out there. So it's a great way to keep your kids at home, keep their costs down and yet, utilize the ADU for that particular purpose.
I notice a lot of people are looking for an ADU to help out their parents. Their parents are at an age where they're looking at retirement. They don't need the big 3 and 4 bedroom house that they grew up with, they raised their children in. And it's just too much for them to keep clean and keep organized. So they're looking to downsize a little bit and put together an ADU for themselves to retire and have a nice, clean, consolidated place. And right in the backyard of their kids, they'll be able to see their grandkids grow up, and their kids are going to be there to help take care of them along the way.
Absolutely. Keeping the family together.
Yeah.
But again, going back to the flip side, if you wanted to use it as an income property, it's a great way, especially these days, to earn that extra income, that extra passive income. So if you have the ADU in your backyard, whether you're converting a garage or you're building something from ground up, it's a great way to earn some extra income if you're retired, or even if you're working currently and just want to earn some more money on the side, So, which brings us to the types of ADUs that may be available out there for you, depending on what your particular needs are. There's a garage conversion, there's something you can do that's detached, like sitting in your backyard if you have the space for it.
Mm-hmm.
You can build a 2-story or a single story. You can have a JADU, which is completely within the main residence of where you reside. So there's various options available to you. So again, it starts with the planning. What am I going to be using this for? Who is going to be living in this ADU or JADU? Is it for rental income? Is it for parents, and so forth and so on? So these are great questions that we need to ask ourselves.
Because it just might be just for one person. You only need 1 bedroom. Maybe you don't want to consume your entire backyard for this. Maybe you're in an area that will be better suited for rental purposes, and those in your neighborhood would be ideal for a family. And now you want to look at maybe a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom ADU for those family areas. For instance, we just had one in South Pasadena. Now, South Pasadena is probably one of those areas where there's not very many single folks that are needing 1-bedroom space, but that's an excellent school district.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure
Absolutely.
people are looking for a way to, how can I get my kid into that school district? Well, let's
Yes.
get them into a little 2-bedroom ADU, move in there while they're going to school, and make sure that we can give them a leg up.
Yeah, and one of the things that I think sometimes people, when they think of ADUs, they think, okay, it's a smaller home, but it is a home. It is not an apartment. In most cases, you have a nice yard area. You have a place where you can have a barbecue or maybe some, a patio deck, if so forth, depending on the type of layout it has. So it gives people really the freedom of having their own space, especially if they're renting it out, but yet having that sense of privacy rather than living in a building, an apartment complex. So
Yeah.
it's a great way to go forward. So anyway, so again, moving on, we talked about the types of ADUs that may be available for us, whether it's a garage conversion, a detached, an attached, a single story, a 2-story, a JADU. There's various ways to go about it. In fact, some of the properties we could do multiple ADUs, where we can have a JADU that's part of the home and then add an ADU that's detached from the property, and we could go up to 1,200 square feet. And I know we've built a few of them that have not only been 3-bedroom, but even 4 bedrooms and a couple of bathrooms, even 3 bathrooms. So if we have the space, we can certainly maximize that.
Of course, or even maximize the number of units. So if you're rental minded, then maximizing units is going to translate to the best income. So as Jack was saying, we can convert garages. We can build something detached from the house in your backyard. We can connect it to the main house. We can do 2 stories, and we'll explore these options a little bit later with a realistic a use case, and we'll be showing that in a moment.
Absolutely. So moving on. So one of the other questions that comes up is, okay, I'm ready to jump in and start building my ADU.
Right.
Now, how long is this going to take? And that's one of the most important questions that we can ask ourselves. Well, everything starts with the design. Everything starts with, first of all, meeting with one of us, Michael, myself, or some of our other team members, and, figuring out what it is that you want to do. Now, once you've decided to move forward, we go through our design phase where we'll put together the drawings and everything for you. Once you have finalized those drawings, then we move into the architectural, planning stage, where we'll put together the architectural, the structural, the Title 24 plans, and we'll submit all of that into the city where you reside. And depending on where you reside, that takes its own time. Some cities are quite faster than others, and so forth and so on. We usually find that Los Angeles.
Yeah. Los Angeles City is
Yes.
pretty darn quick. It's one of our favorite cities to work with because they got in comparison to the other cities, they have their stuff together.
And they're much more motivated to allow ADUs, right?
Exactly. So what I would tell most people, if you plan for approximately 6 months plus or minus 2 months for the permitting phase, that's going to cover almost all the cities. And if there is something that's unique about your city during our initial consultation, we'll definitely have a conversation with you and let you know what to expect. But if you say about 6 months plus or minus a little, that's a good amount of time to understand that this process is going to be going through the city. Just to back up just a second, when it goes through the design phase, for design phase, I think we're going to take about 6 weeks, plus or minus a week or 2, depending on how fast you make decisions. And then we're ready to submit everything to the city. Now, construction.
Let me talk about that. That's a very important point. So once we begin the process, once you say, great, let's get going, one of the first things we'll do is we'll send one of our architectural team members to come out to your property and measure your site. So gather up all the information, take very many photographs and so forth. Then they bring that information back. And then we have one of our architectural team members start putting the design together. A few weeks later, when you're ready to come into our office and review the plans, review the design, we'll sit down with you and we'll fine tune everything to the way that you want it. You want the bedrooms here, you want the windows this size, you want the door to be facing from east or west or wherever it is that you want it. Once that's finalized, then we can move into the, completing the plan. So like Michael was saying, it really comes down to how fast you can give us some decisions, and we can access the property and get things moving on our side. So the faster you give us the information, the faster we can move things forward.
Right. And then after the plans go through the city's permitting process, we get a ready to issue permit, we can immediately start construction. And we're actually really good at jumping on it and getting started right away. We've got the construction chops to execute immediately. Now, execution of construction is going to depend on the scope of work, but we're typically seeing garage conversions can be a little bit faster, in as fast as a 3-month timeline. And something that's very, let's say if we have a very intense project that's got a lot of details to it, maybe we're building something on a hillside, we want to give those a little bit more time. And we might say about 6, 7, 8 months at most. So if you plan on, I think a good middle number there is about 6 months. So if we're looking at about 6 months for plans and permitting, 6 months for construction, and a couple of weeks for coming up with the architectural plans and design, we're looking at having this done in about a year.
Yeah, a year is kind of a good mark to kind of keep, from start to finish. Again, it'll vary, it might be a little sooner, it might be a little later, but I think the 1-year mark is a very good, a very good one to kind of follow through on. Just kind of keep that in mind. So fantastic. So moving forward, and a little bit of a layout on, we talked about some of this. So the phases involved are again, just to recap, phase 1 is our design and architectural planning phase. And once the RTI are ready to issue, the plans are ready from the building department, then we can move into the construction phase. So now you're ready to build. Now we move forward. So what can people expect once they're ready to build, Mike? What kind of what is and isn't of the ADUs?
What is an ADU? What isn't an ADU? So what we want to take a look at here, we're not building basic Home Depot sheds. We're building beautiful custom homes here. Now, those custom homes can be something that's relatively simple if that's your goal, but ultimately we like to build something that's kind of unique. It's going to stand out. It's going to look gorgeous on your property, and it's going to be something that you're proud of, right? So here's a couple of our ADUs, and we're going to run through a couple screenshots just to give you an idea of what you could have.
Amazing. Look at those open spaces and the high ceilings. I mean,
Looks
when you
gorgeous.
add high ceilings to any structure, it automatically, even if it's as small as 400 or 500 square feet, it really opens the space up. So
yeah. And in this particular ADU, it was very important that we took care to make sure that it was very bright, open, airy. Notice the tall vaulted ceilings in this, and the tall ceiling height, and the quite a few windows in this one makes
lots
the
of
space
glass.
feel huge. Yes. Now, you might think ADUs are a little bit tiny, but there's creative ideas like is shown in this picture on how to make that space look and feel so much bigger than the land that it takes up. Right. Check out this ADU. This ADU is actually one of our larger 1,200 square footers. This is designed to be just like a house. If you have a good sized property, got a lot of room in that backyard, you can have an entire house in your backyard.
That's beautiful. I could sit there on a couch and just look at that ceiling all day long, right?
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
It's like a piece of art.
Now, this ADU here, you probably saw this in the rolling intro. This is a 500 square foot ADU, something a little bit smaller, perfect for a 1-bedroom. It's actually the standard size of a typical 1-bedroom apartment. So if we were going to compete against maybe renting this out to somebody that would be thinking about staying in an apartment, but instead they're going to be in a nice neighborhood, not shoulder to shoulder with everybody. They're going to be very excited to stay in a place like this. Have a few more ADUs to show here.
And as you can see, some of the creative ways that we go about it, like Michael was saying, is, if the space is a little tight and you don't have room for a dining table, I think you might have noticed in a couple of those photos how the counter in the kitchen can be converted so it's a counter as well as an eating area. So it's a great way to utilize space.
Yep. And these aren't basic. We can do beautiful things.
Absolutely.
Just rolling through. All right, I'll finish those.
So,
So now we're going to have a little chat about how can we build one of these? What are the interest rates? We have one of our lenders, Meredith, here with us, and she's going to have a conversation with everybody a little bit about how to finance and fund these ADU projects. After that, we'll talk a little bit about construction. Meredith, are you ready to join?
hi, Meredith.
Sure am. Thanks, guys, for having me on. I appreciate it. You guys do such a great job. I think we've been working together for 5 years. What's really exciting is we are the largest lender of ADUs in the state. You do not have to refinance, and you don't even have to have equity. You can keep that nice low rate first mortgage. Now, ADUs are still, they're connected to the real estate. So that means they're either a first or second mortgage. But what I find is that we're using home equity lines of credit, very popular for construction. Home equity lines of credit, Michael, if you'd show that screen, are a type of second mortgage. So again, we are not refinancing your first mortgage. Keep that, doesn't touch it. What's exciting about the home equity lines of credit is that they literally work like a credit card, except it's a low interest rate because it's secured by a second mortgage or second by your house. It's also tax deductible. So even though the rates don't look as great as they might seem, the tax deduction means your net cost of borrowing is like 2 or 3%. So it literally works like a credit card. I send you a credit card and I send you a checkbook. And if you pull out money today to start designs, let's say you write a check for $10,000 today, which is not really how it works, but let's say you get a bill next month for $83. That's it. Not the whole loan amount, just the interest on a 30-year term of 10,000, just the 10,000 you use. That is $83 at today's screaming high rates.
So Meredith, if they choose just to pay the $83, they stay current, but there's also no prepayment or anything like that. So if they choose to pay more or the full balance, they could also do that as well, correct?
That's right. That's exactly right. You can also use it to pay off credit cards, and we can also factor in all of that. And in addition to your ADU, if you want to remodel your existing house, take care of some deferred maintenance, it's a good time to do it all in one. Now, let's say you just bought the house and you don't have much equity. We have a construction HELOC. A construction HELOC is based on future value after the construction is done. So let's say your house is worth $700,000 and you're going to build a $200,000 ADU. Now we're basing the loan amount on $900,000. So it allows us to build ADUs based on future value. So I have plenty of clients who've just bought their house and we're doing a construction HELOC to build the ADU now. When you're done with construction, we convert those home equity lines of credit into a home equity loan. Not right now, but in 9 to 12 months, rates will be coming down. The HELOC is adjustable. Ultimately, that $83 should drop to about $50 per month. So by the time you get into construction, your every $100,000 you spend is going to be about $500 per month. So a $200,000 ADU on a HELOC is going to cost you approximately $1,000 per month.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. So just to kind of recap, the construction HELOC basically allows people, for example, if they're building AD unit, they're going to get $3,000 of rental income from that. They're calculating that as the future earnings in order to qualify for this particular program.
That's right. And even if rates never went down in our lifetime, you would still be cash flowing. And we'll talk about that rental income because it really is just that good.
Fantastic. Now, what do people, are there anything special they have to do besides owning the home to qualify for this? Is it pretty paperwork heavy? What kind of time does something like this take typically?
Yeah, all mortgages these days after the housing crash is pretty paperwork heavy, but that's okay. That's our job to help you through. After all, we are lending you $250,000, $500,000. You
True,
kind of expect some paperwork with that, right?
sure, right. A
And
couple of
that's okay.
signatures at least, right? Yes.
Couple. And let me say this too. If you don't own property, but you want to build on a family member's property, we can do that too. So as long as somebody owns the property, we can figure out how to make that work.
Fantastic. Well, that's good information. So
Yeah.
those of you out there that are thinking, hey, I just bought the house, I don't have enough equity into it, but I really want to build an ADU to, like we talked about earlier, to have a family member maybe live on it or to use it as rental income. This is a great avenue. So please make sure that you could reach out to Meredith and she will better explain things in more detail. Or you can reach out to one of us and we'd be happy to connect you to Meredith, because I think it's really a fantastic way to go. So you don't have to wait a couple of years for your equity to rise before you go out and get some money to utilize for the ADU. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hey, Meredith, did I catch something? It sounded very interesting to me. Did you say something about, now I know there was two products. There was a HELOC and a construction HELOC. And were you talking about a type of lending that can help you pay down your credit cards?
Yes, both of these loans, in addition to paying for the ADU, yes, you can pay down those credit cards. If you check your rates on credit cards these days, holy
my God, it's
smacks,
like
they're like,
30%. It's
it
crazy.
is so bad. It
Right.
is so bad. So take those credit cards, refinance them into a loan that after the tax deduction costs you 2 or 3%. We're literally saving thousands of dollars. And above all, don't spend money on your ADU with 30% credit card rates. Let's
Absolutely
get it
not.
figured out. Um,
And
yeah.
how do you foresee, and I know rates are high and they've been kind of staying high for quite a bit, but what do you think might be happening in the coming few months or within the next 6 to 12 months? And I know none of us have a crystal ball that we can only judge the future based on what we've seen in the past. Maybe you can talk a little bit about that. How do you see that playing out?
Yeah, I mean, rates have been a little sticky high, but nobody foresees them going up any further. The only question is when are they coming down? Are they coming down in 6 months or 9 months or 12 months? And you guys have seen the time it takes just to get permits and designs. My recommendation is get started on designs and permits. It doesn't cost that much, but it gives you optionality. You guys know how, once you get your permits done, how long are those good for and can you renew them?
Yeah, typically a permit is going to be good for a year and you can renew them. You can extend that if necessary. We might need to show that we've gotten a little work done on it or showing progress. And in
Yeah.
a worst case scenario, if it does take a little bit longer and we do have to go back and reissue those permits, typically that process it's not very difficult. The city, all they want to do
Couple
is
of
just,
$100, and I think they'll extend it for another 6 months. And unless some major code changes occur, which can be incorporated, but that gives you a good year and a half. If you're not ready to build once your plans are approved, you have at least another year and a half before you can start.
right.
And like Michael
Yeah.
was saying, you could even do like maybe a little digging here, a little this and that, just to kind of keep the permits alive, so they don't
Yeah.
expire.
Yeah, it gives you such great optionality, and we'll talk about that more. I'm concerned when costs go down, prices are going to go up because of demand. So it's a funny thing, but there's even at today's high interest rates, these ADUs are cash flowing
It,
like crazy.
It's interesting you say that because, historically, real estate has always gone up. I mean, there are dips throughout the market if we look at history, but even nowadays, I see activity, where we're at and all around Los Angeles, rates are 7.5. Sometimes they were like up at 8%, but there's still plenty of people buying. There's just not enough inventory. And typically, from
Mhm.
what I've seen, and I think we've all seen this, is when the rates drop, there are going to be more properties that come on the market, and there's going to be even more people that are going to come out and start wanting to purchase those homes. So what that's going to do is going to create a bidding war, and that's going to,
Yep.
push prices
Prices go
more
up.
higher up. So if you have an ADU, guess what happens now? Your ADU, the whatever you built it for, now almost is going to be 150 or 200% its value all of a sudden, because the prices are going up all around.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's
so
true. And
My
you know
buyers
what?
would kill for a house with an ADU, absolutely kill.
absolutely, absolutely. It's one of the best ways to go about it, because most of us can't afford to buy apartment buildings, 8 or 10 unit, which, I'm sure some of us could, but the fact of the matter is this is a great way to utilize and make your home make money for you.
Right.
So,
And one of the other things that I like to think about is when interest rates are where they are now, yeah, they're not great. But you know what it is? It's slowing down the construction market just enough so that the price for materials isn't through the roof. If we wait for the perfect time and we try and execute the start of this ADU
Right.
and we land on it right when interest rates go down and everybody wants to jump and execute their construction project at the same time, what do you think that's going to do to the supply?
yes.
The
gonna be
supply
like
of
crazy.
materials is going to drop low and the
Absolutely.
prices are going to shoot up. We saw that happen throughout COVID.
Absolutely.
And we might see that happen again. If interest rates take a dive now, we might see that happen. So
Well,
I
there's
would
going to
say-
be much more demand. So the suppliers are going to, if they have more demand, they're going to start, bringing their prices up, because that's the time where they'll start making their margins essentially.
Exactly. And what can you do to protect yourself from that? If you were to execute your ADU sooner than later, even though, yes, the rates aren't wonderful today, but there's going to be a better tomorrow. It will happen, right? It's just a matter of when. And that when, Meredith, you can always refinance, right? When
Oh, yeah,
times are better, what do you do?
right. You refinance. And when
Sure,
we go into
refinance.
construction, rates are better and our refinances are complimentary once we've done the loan. Our goal is to help you to go from loan to loan, so you can get your purpose with no lender fees.
Yeah. So what I've kind of heard you say, and I think it's again, going back to what we were talking about earlier in our presentation, is the planning. Most of us, when we're thinking about building an ADU, we're all, immediately thinking, oh my God, well, what is this going to cost us? Well, there's so much time between the time when we start the design and when the permits are ready. That gives you, that cost is very, very minimal. I mean, it's about like that, so it allows you to plan, it allows you to put things in motion, whatever those many months are, 4, 6, or 8 months it takes for the plans to get approved. By that time, you have options available, because the rates may drop, and they may drop dramatically. And at that time is the time to start thinking about possibly utilizing a HELOC. But it's important to get the paperwork started so you at least know what you have to do to prepare, correct?
Absolutely.
We just
Absolutely.
ran a poll in the background, and I see a lot of you guys are really actively answering our question here. We asked you a question: what is keeping you from getting started on your ADU project? And amazingly, what are the big factors here? We've got current interest rates is one of the biggest factors. Cost of labor and material wasn't too big of a factor for a lot of people, and finding good, reliable designers,
and
right?
builders.
That's
Well-
a tricky one. That's a tricky one. And then a
Yes.
lot of people say all of the above.
Right.
And I'm curious, some people said other. I want you guys to
Yeah,
reach
that's
out to me. I wanna
25% of the
explore-
people said other. I'm
I'm
curious what the other is.
I'd love to hear from
Well,
you guys about that.
When we talk
Um,
about inflation, people talk about the interest rates, but the other half of inflation is rents go up. Yeah,
Absolutely.
inflation's gone up, but the rents have gone up even higher. It's just incredible. So
And
I think we were gonna open it up, 1, maybe 2 people, if you want to put your property address in the chat room, we will take a look and show you.
Week that we're taking for that faith lesson. Yeah.
We can, what other items are you holding back? But put your address in the chat room and we can, we'll take a look at the first 1, maybe 2.
Yeah.
And on that note, with regards to rates, I mean, rental, will also rise. Rental, income will also rise. Here's one thing to keep in mind, rents are rising all over, unfortunately. It's just part of growth in a sense. But when you have an ADU, when you build an ADU, you are essentially building a brand new home. Don't think of it as an apartment or a small home or anything like that. These are, as you saw by some of those photos, these are brand new homes, you know, with top of the line kitchen, appliances, you know, showers and so forth. So anyone who's walking in as a potential tenant, they're going to be wowed. And if they're going to go down the street to an apartment building and they're looking at a 2-bedroom apartment versus a 2-bedroom detached ADU in your backyard, guess what? They're going to pay you $500 to $1,000 more easily just for the fact that they're going to have their own private space and they're going to live in a brand new home. So it's a win-win.
A typical 1-bedroom ADU in the LA area rents for $2,500. And as we just talked about, it costs about $1,000 a month to build.
Right. So the owner is netting every month approximately $1,500, paying off the loan and being able to keep $1,500 in their pocket. Wow, that's, I don't know any other investments that'll allow you those kinds of margins.
Right.
So.
So what I actually want to talk to a few people about is what we're going to do next is we're going to explore a few properties. Meredith already touched on that. Vic, if you want to let people open up the chat box, and what we can do is we're going to take a look at a few houses. First, I'm going to do a sample one, and then we're going to take a look at some of your addresses live, and we'll explore what kind of ADU can you do, and how is it going to be helpful to achieve your specific goals. But first, let's do a sample ADU. So we pull the random house, and we're going to take a look at its ADU's potential. All right, so this house has a relatively large backyard and it's got great ADU potential. The types of ADUs that we could potentially do are garage conversions, detached ADUs. We can do an attached ADU, and we can even do 2 stories over the garage. Let's show you how. All right, so this is a garage. A garage ADU would look a little bit like this. We have a sample floor plan of what a garage space could be translated into you.
So basically what you're seeing here is if it's about 400 square feet, 20 by 20 garage, this is a great way to utilize the space. It's basically a studio. I mean, it can be a 1-bedroom in a sense, but it may be a little tight for this smaller space. But look at the amount of room that you have. You have a nice large bathroom. You have a you know, pretty cool kitchen area and an area to sit and so forth and so on, and a large closet. So it's a good way if you don't want to make anything larger. It's a great way to utilize that garage space.
Yep.
Let's see what else we got, Mike.
There we go. So with this ADU, we can build it out. We can put a privacy barrier so we can access it from the street, give them a little private ADU patio space. And it's a perfect, nice, clean little backyard unit.
Sure beats that apartment building, right?
And
Yeah.
it's cleared away from the main house's backyard space. The backyard
Absolutely.
space through there is nice and private. You're not really sharing too much.
So you have your own privacy. You can throw a little barbecue out there, have some friends over.
Yeah. So now we've got an alternative option. What if we took this garage and we expanded it a little bit? Now, a typical garage is about 400 square feet. We could still fit a 1-bedroom ADU in there, but it's going to be a little tight. Now, a typical 1-bedroom apartment is closer to about 500 square feet. So we can take this garage, add on to it a little bit, and make it a little bit more spacious as a 1-bedroom ADU. Okay. Now that we've got a few extra square feet to work with, we can add a single bedroom on the interior of this. And this is a typical floor plan of a...
Look at the difference that 100 square foot made. The kitchen is much larger. You have a private bedroom. I mean, you have the laundry area. I mean, it's just amazing now. All of a sudden, it's a whole new space. Just 100 square feet makes all that difference.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
All right. Okay, what if we go big? You have the ability in most areas to build up to 1,200 square feet. 1,200 square feet is enormous. That's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And if we
Most of the
Right.
houses in the valley are like less
Right.
than that, right? Meredith, aren't they like 1,000 to 1,100 square feet? Most of the existing homes that have been built like 50 years ago.
Yeah.
So
In
this is
fact,
like
sometimes you have to be like, whoa.
some of them I've seen are like 900 square feet. So
I
this
know.
is like a brand new home.
Yeah. I see a lot of people adding on to the main house so they can build a bigger ADU too.
Yeah. And you got to be careful with these because you might think that you're building a nice rental, you're going to make some money with this ADU. But once you get started in this process, we're going to sit down in the office, design this out together. We create this gorgeous floor plan. We start selecting materials. You put in your own tile, your countertops, your beautiful quartz, and your tiled backsplashes, your wood floors. It's going to be beautiful. And it might make your house a little jealous. When that happens,
We know
when
what
that happens,
happens,
we know
yes.
what happens. It happens all the time. The homeowners that think that they're going to rent out their ADU, they love it so much that they move in and then they rent out the main house.
Right. They say, you know what, we're going to take the new units, have somebody else rent the front house.
Yeah.
And by the way, on that note, even if you're not going to rent and you're thinking about renovating your existing home, this is a perfect time. Now, you don't have to go to a hotel or go live with relatives that you may not like necessarily, but gives you an opportunity to stay home, be in your new space while your main house is being renovated. And then once that's done, then you can move back home and re-rent this or do something, whatever you want to do with it. So.
All right. So this is an alternative option. This is a detached option for an ADU. You got 800 square feet in this particular model. 800 square feet is a perfect amount of space for 2 bedrooms, 2 bath. It'll feel like about the size of a typical apartment. So still pretty spacious. It'll
800 is a
works
lot
really-
of space. Yeah.
And you know what? Garage space is valuable. Sometimes you don't want to give up that garage to create this ADU, and that's exactly what this is for. You get to keep that garage, keep your storage in there, be able to park your car. Who parks their car in the garage in LA?
I
Not too
know a
many.
few people, but not a whole lot. I mean, it becomes
Hey.
storage space, but it's still great to have.
I've
Yeah.
been into quite a few of LA's garages, and I tell you, there's no cars in the LA
Right,
garage.
right. But if you can keep it and still build the ADU, it's a great option to have. Yeah.
Exactly. So here we have a 2-bedroom, 2-bath unit and approximately 800 square foot. This is a really amazing floor plan. Notice how that the living room is in the center and then we have the bedrooms off to the sides. By putting the bedrooms off to the sides like that, it creates a level of privacy between the 2 rooms and each one gets their own dedicated bathroom. One of them will be shared with guests, but the other one's going to be master. Got a big, beautiful kitchen in this.
Absolutely.
Island in the kitchen. You
Great
can have
common area.
a
And I just
gorgeous-
want to say one thing. This is just one idea. It doesn't necessarily have to be like this
Mhm.
because we can pretty much customize it to your particular needs. So if you have some other ideas that you want the layout to be, we're more than happy to accommodate, you know?
I'm glad you mentioned that, Jack, because a lot of people take a look at our website and sometimes they take a look at our ads and they think that the floor plans there are the only things that they can choose from. They're choosing from a
No.
menu. It's not really a menu.
It's just a guide to
It's a
start.
guide.
It's a starting point.
So
yeah.
we might take this idea
Mhm.
initially and go, oh yeah, I like this, but well, if I move the kitchen to the other side and put the entry door over here, then I'm going to have a nice private entry down the side patio of my house. And I'm going to have a window that overlooks the garden. It's going to look gorgeous.
Absolutely.
So being able to customize them is key. And that's what we do. All right. So another option, I think Meredith, you were saying something about this. We can attach ADUs to the existing house. This is a bit tricky. So sometimes you might want to attach an ADU to your house to maximize its size because you might not have a huge backyard, or maybe you had dreams of expanding your house, but you're limited to your RFA, your residential floor area to property ratio, or there's some limitation that says that you can't build your house bigger. Well, an ADU, you can always build 800 square feet.
Absolutely.
Right? And you can attach this ADU to the main house. You can connect it with a hallway, with a corridor, with separate doors. Now it is going to get its own address. It is going to get its own kitchen, but you can attach it and have it function like an addition to your house, as well as have it be broken off at a later time that can be rented out independently. Now, this, I think, is a great idea for those people that want to find a way to bring their parents into their house where they can take good care of them while they retire and keep them close, keep them tight to the family, let them walk in and out and have breakfast together, and then still have their own private space.
Like we were saying earlier, everything is customizable, meaning that you're only limited by your imagination. So we will help you with the options. Once we look at your space, once we look at your property, we can come up with a few ideas, like you can do this, or you can do that, and you can do this, so forth. So we'll definitely work with you on giving you some options and ideas. But at the end of the day, it's what you want, and whatever you want, we can make for you. So again, like Michael was saying, when you look at our websites, we have dozens and dozens of floor plans. But, those are projects we've done in the past. And if you like one of them, we can certainly replicate one of those. But if you say, well, I like some of the elements of this, but I want to change some of these other things, like we were saying earlier, absolutely. So don't be shy in asking, because we'd be happy to do that.
Yep.
Here's another version.
So here's what about a 900 square foot
two bedroom, but in
two-bedroom
this
ADU.
case, the bedrooms are pushed off to the other side.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then maybe this doorway isn't quite a doorway at all. It's rather the hallway that will lead into the main house.
Absolutely. Or if it's a standalone, you could actually, maybe you don't want to do a door. If we can go back to that for a second, if you don't want to do like an entry door, one of the other things we can do is put like a sliding door, or if you want one of the bedrooms to have access to the side yard, we can certainly do some swinging or sliding doors there. So again, just because the bedrooms have windows, they don't have to be limited by windows. They could also have a door, like several of our projects, clients want that. Maybe somebody wants to come out in the middle of the night and, I don't know, whatever, get some fresh air without having to go through the living room.
Create a little courtyard off
Absolutely.
of the bedroom. That's an awesome option. We have had quite a few clients ask for that. We can do it. All right, next. So we got another option. We can build units above a garage.
Yes.
Right. So maybe you want to keep your garage, but you want to keep your yard. You don't want to give it up. Kids come over and they play in the yard, right? You enjoy mowing the lawn.
Absolutely.
You don't want to give that up, then we can build the ADU right above your garage, and you're not giving up any of your very valuable land.
We would have to do a few things to the existing garage to make sure that it holds that second story, but it's very definitely doable.
Yeah, garages aren't meant to have a second story with their existing foundations, but we beef it up a little bit. We do some underpinning to the foundation, build up those walls a little bit. And this is what a typical floor plan of a unit built right above a garage. No bigger than the garage, about 400-ish square feet. We can build a nice studio like this, and sometimes we can even fit in, depending on where the stairs go, we can fit in a 1-bedroom above a garage without any problem. We've even done projects where our client wanted to have a dream garage, right? This client was a golfer, and he wanted to have a place where he can practice his swing. So we built him a garage that was extra tall on the inside, and he had a net where he could swing his golf clubs and practice his golf swing inside. And then we built the ADU right on top of that. So this was actually one of his layouts. So he did a 1-bedroom ADU built above his garage.
Very nice.
It was about that project is about about 600 square feet.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah.
Cozy, beautiful, a lot of open space in the common areas. It's great stuff. Yeah.
All right. Now we can also do 2-story ADUs. Right. So now maybe we take that garage, we convert it to a portion of the ADU. This is the first floor of that ADU. And then the second floor goes on top, and we can put the bedrooms up there. 2-bedroom ADUs at about 750 to 850 square feet. That's a great living space. Check out that closet.
I know
that's huge. We got a big walk-in closet in that master bedroom.
And just for the record, if you want to keep it around 750 to 800, you can do that. But if you wanted to maximize it and go like 1,200 square feet, we can certainly do that as well, where we keep the lower level 600 square feet and the upper level 600 square feet. So you could have 3 bedrooms upstairs, maybe even have a 4th bedroom downstairs, and then the kitchen and so forth. So you could end up with 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms in a 1,200 square foot 2-story.
That's if we're really packing it in. though.
Yes,
Yeah, those
yes,
bedrooms
if you
aren't going to
want
be
that.
very, they're not going to be very big.
Right,
But we
still,
can fit it. We can fit it. You know,
but
if you need it for your family, we can pack 4.
absolutely.
You know, there is some provisions, and it's kind of rare. I'd love for you to be a unique case here. If you have an existing structure that's over 1,200 square feet, you can convert that an existing structure into an ADU. There are a couple places where I've come across these large garages,
Mhm.
and we can convert those garages. One was a 1,600 square foot garage, and we can convert that into a large 1,600 square foot ADU. There's special provisions in the code that allow us to go even bigger.
Or if they wanted to maintain part of it as a garage and then still have the ADU there, that could also be a nice little way to go about it. So
Yep. Now, before we get into here, I really want to explore a new idea here. I would like to share, if any of you guys out there would like to share an address, I'd like to take your home, put it on Google Earth, and we'll take a satellite view of your property, and we can talk about one of these ADU options for you. We'll be able to discuss how and where we can place an ADU. Meredith might be able to chime in and talk about lending and budgeting for that type of an ADU. Let's explore that.
I noticed a couple of people. There's one in Chatsworth and there's one in San Bernardino.
Okay.
One
Yeah,
from Mayet Mendoza.
The Chatsworth one is really interesting. It has a number of different options. So if it's okay, let's go to that one.
I want to do that. I
Let's
used to
do that
live
one.
on Independence Avenue in
Oh, you
Chatsworth.
did. What a small world. Huh?
Yeah.
Life comes full circle, doesn't
All
it?
right. All
Yes.
right.
All right, let's take a look at that. Maya, thank you for sharing that, by the way. So let's see what we can come up with.
All right. We're going to switch over and switch over to Google Earth here.
Well, I hope while Michael is doing that, I hope you guys are
Vic, can you bring Maya on so she can
enjoying this
she can
webinar,
speak on
and
our-
we're answering some, if not all of your questions. And if you do have additional questions, please feel free to reach out to any one of us at any time. We're always here. Visit our website. You find a world of information on our website. We can do a consultation for you, with you. We can speak on the phone, figure out what
There's a
your
chat
needs
for-
are, if we're a good
There's a
fit.
Chatsworth
You
address.
know, so there's
Just so that
various
you
ways we can
know,
approach it.
name on
No pressure, no nothing. We're here to help and to see if we can make your ADU dreams a reality. So that's what we do.
So the property is, you got it? Oh,
I see
good.
it. I
Yes.
see it here. And IT is bringing on our homeowner.
Wow, that's a great
If you get a
property.
chance, we're gonna add you into the chat so you'll be able to discuss this with us. It's just a second while we get you joined in.
Hi, Mayed. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Hi,
Am I
how's it
saying
going?
your name right, Mayed?
Yeah. Mayet, yes.
Oh, good.
All
Thanks
right.
for joining us and thanks for sharing.
Hey,
You.
what a wonderful property for an ADU. This is an excellent location, a great open backyard space. It's so ready for an ADU. And this particular project, I love it. It's in Los Angeles City jurisdiction, and Los Angeles City is one of our favorites. We get this project going nice, smooth, and quick. And LA City is one of those cities that fully supports ADUs. They even go as far as extending beyond what the state allows and allow more than what the state allows. It's pretty awesome.
That's pretty
Love
cool.
love projects in LA City. So tell me a little bit about yourself and what your goals are for your ADU.
So what I want to do is to build in like in the middle right there. You see the garage, right?
I do.
Yes.
Yep.
And I will, want to update the garage, but leave the structure. I don't
Mhm.
know. I like the idea of building on top of it, but I actually have so much space,
You do.
in the back. I do have dogs that need, some some running space there. But
Who would this
I
ADU
want
be for? Would it be for a
I want to
family
rent it out.
member or for rental income?
I want to rent it out initially. And I think as I grow older, that I might want to stay in one of the.
Oh, you might be one of those
Believe
who
me,
falls in love with the
yes.
ADU. And that rental income, it's pretty sweet when you change it over to the main house, to rent the main house, and you'll fall
Yeah,
in
I'm
love with this
already
ADU.
looking it up.
Yeah, I mean, the
She might
way
be one
we're
of
seeing
those.
this property line, you have so much space there. And like you said, if
Yeah.
you wanted to keep the garage and create an ADU, whether it's a straight or an L-shaped or something to that effect, you have
Yeah.
plenty of room to do this with.
How wonderful would it be to keep that garage for your own car parking and then build an ADU attached to this garage? We can update your garage in the middle of this and then build this ADU for you.
Yeah.
And it'll be gorgeous. It'll be beautiful. It'll be brand new. You get to pick everything you want, and then you get your own place to park your car in the shade and charge that new mandated electric vehicle in the garage, right?
Absolutely.
That's going to be a tricky thing, is trying to find a place to park these electric cars and where to charge them. And if you're able to keep a garage like this, then that'll work well for you. Let's explore this. How many bedrooms do you think you would want to have?
I don't know. Let's maximize it without, you know, I don't know.
Timu notification.
What's that?
Uh,
I was thinking maybe have it attached to the, not attached, but side by side to the garage. So there's like, yeah, more on to the garage side
Okay.
rather,
I know
and
what
So
then
are you thinking more on like this side, possibly building the ADU here?
she can't see your
Oh, she
screen.
can't see. Oh,
let
I'm
me
sorry.
drive on that. Okay, so if we're looking at potentially building something big, we can look at a 2-bedroom or possibly a 3-bedroom if you want to maximize this project.
yeah.
And I can show you a couple projects. I've got a 1,200 square foot 2-bedroom that we built it to feel like a house, where it's going to have a big spacious. And I think you remember earlier on in the video, there was a beautiful ADU with a blue kitchen and wood ceilings. Do you remember seeing that early in the presentation?
Mhm.
That was a 2-bedroom, 1,200 square foot ADU. Gorgeous. And then we can build that. Let me draw it out on your property where that might be. Now, if you can see here, your driveway, as you pull into the property, you have a turning radius that you have to navigate around to come and pull into this garage. So this
Right.
garage, I don't think is in a very ideal situation, an ideal location. I might
Right.
want to put it over here so you can pull straight into the garage, and then we can divide out the property somewhere in the middle, so the main house gets a backyard space and then you get to have your own separate space. Would you be open? Now, you said that you wanted to retire into this house, grow old into it, right? Grow old. I don't think I'm allowed to say that. Would you be interested in a 2-story or a single story? Because I think single stories are
story.
probably going to be the best solution
Right.
for you. We want to avoid stairs if we can, right?
And by the way, from the resale value, single story homes always bring top dollar, because anyone of any age can utilize a single story home, where second, 2-level homes, they look pretty and everything and they're beautiful, but sometimes when we get a little bit older, and I have a few gray hairs, and my legs start to give up sometimes going up and down those stairs. So if you can build a single story like Michael is saying, it may be a better option, that way.
So if we're thinking about building something back in this area right here, what I did is I just drew a box, and this is one of the tools that we use. We use Google Earth to give you a good idea, a scope of what this size is. This is 2,500 square feet. So within this space, we can separate out a section of your yard for you and your side. And then we can still, within this square footage, we can include some backyard space. We can include a garage into this space, and then create a fence that goes across and keeps your side of the property separate from your front house tenant.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take this and let's now shape it a little bit. So if we're going to build a 1,200 square foot ADU, plus we're going to put in a garage is about 400 square feet, then that puts us at 1,600 square feet. Now we can dial this back a little bit. We can make it a little interesting with an L shape.
So you're gonna be leaving the garage there?
Nope. I would propose that we put the garage here
Uh-huh.
so that you can
Oh,
drive your car in and turn and park into the garage here. Okay,
uh-huh.
and then
Okay.
this would be the living space of the ADU. I'm looking at an L shape, and the L shape, what's nice about it is it's going to give me a little bit more exterior perimeter. And with a larger exterior perimeter, you're going to get some more windows. You're going to get what I'm backing off the space here to create about 1,600 square feet. And that's going to be a 2-car garage plus 1,200 square foot ADU. So right about there-ish. This space is going to give you up to a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, or if you want to make those bedrooms and bathrooms really big, have maybe a nice laundry room,
Absolutely.
and just not feel tight, then we can keep it at 2 bedrooms.
And then the other thing, if you notice, Mayed, what it gives
Mhm.
you is by having the garage moved over to the side of to the other side,
Right,
it
right.
creates a space in the back where this particular ADU now will have its own private backyard in a sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now your dogs the dogs can be barking, but they're not going to bark. They're not going to bark and bother that front house.
Right.
Right.
And they're going to have their own space. So if you're using it as rental income, now guess what? They're not renting a back house anymore. They're renting a house.
Yeah.
And in the Chatsworth area,
Yeah.
I would almost, again, I'm not going to say for sure, but Meredith helped me here. In Chatsworth, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,200, they could probably get at least 4,000 to 4,500 a month. Would you say?
Oh, it gets better than that.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
okay. I was being
The front house, this is the fun part. The front house
Sorry, guys.
is for $7,050, according to Zillow.
that-
Your front house with $7,050 per
Mhm.
month, and there's another rental down the way that's also 4 bedrooms on the front house that's renting for $7,000.
wow.
If you
Wow,
were
that is
to
nuts.
rent your brand new 3-bedroom ADU that we just designed here,
Mhm.
$5,000 a month,
There you go.
the rental income if you stayed in the front house.
Wow.
Now, so we know what rental income is. What's a very rough estimate, guys, on what this would cost? And I'll break down the monthly payment.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we've done a few of these 1,200 square foot ADUs
Absolutely.
with garages. I've got a couple projects that are in construction, so my quotes are based off of actual units that are being built right now. Typical construction price for a unit like this would be in the high 300,000s to very low 400,000s. I would,
Wow.
yep.
Well,
So remember, every 100,000 you spend is about
Mhm.
$500. So that would be either $1,500 to $2,000 per month cost.
For the mortgage.
Yes.
Yeah.
for the mortgage, but if you're getting $5,000 of rental income, guess what? You're keeping about $3,000 a month. So
Right.
not only are you financing
Yeah.
the cost of the HELOC or whatever loan you have, but now you're actually making money and you can apply the $3,000 towards the mortgage of your main house if you choose, or use it for something else.
Hey, I want to talk about this because a lot of people are really shocked when they hear it. First off, don't think of these ADUs when you're going to build something on your property like this. You're not giving up the money to pay for and buy this. You're reinvesting in your own property. You're putting money right back into your equity to build this ADU. I have a client that we just finished up their 2-bedroom, 2-bath unit. This was in Claremont. Beautiful, beautiful unit. The main house was appraised for $1 million right before they got started with their ADU project. They They started with their lending. They had to get their house appraised for 1 million. They put in their ADU. Their ADU was $237,000 to build this gorgeous ADU. And after that was built, they had it appraised again. Can you imagine how much this got appraised? You're going to be shocked. It appraised for 1.4 million.
I was gonna say
1.4,
1.5, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So what happened there? They built an ADU and instantly it was worth more than
Almost double
the investment that they
cost.
put into it, right?
Right.
So geez, just I told them, hey, you made your income for the year. Take the rest of the year off. Go on vacation for the next 9 months. You're done.
Maya, here's
Right?
another way
That's
to
what
also
true.
look at that. Imagine if this home or this ADU was in the front instead of your main home. Now,
Right.
all of a sudden, you move this to the front. So if this is costing you, say, whatever, 350,000 to build this, for example, but just by the example that Michael brought up, if you move this ADU to the front of the street, guess what? Now that's worth not only double that, but probably triple that, if not more, because it's so you have to look at things in perspective like that. You
Right.
know, not only when you build the ADU, it doubles in its value, but it's also raising the overall value of your home.
Right.
And earning you money on a monthly basis.
Yep.
Right.
You know what happens to properties every 10 years?
They
Nearly
They
double in
always
their
double.
value.
Historically, they've always had.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you look at what this ADU is going to do for you, it is going to pay itself off in 10 years in its own equity growth
Absolutely.
without you investing $1 into rental income.
You know what
Wow.
they say in real estate? In real estate, you make money while you sleep because the property is working for you. So
Yeah.
What do you think about this layout? Do you think that this would work for you where you have a nice little private backyard for your dogs to
Well, I
play
think so.
around, make all kinds of noise? You notice what I did was I kind of tucked back a little section right here. What if you had a little fence that came out to the back? And can you imagine having a little retreat off of your master bedroom where you have a jacuzzi back here, a little nice little private
Right.
patio to kick back and relax on? There's an interesting way that you can expand on that 1,200 square feet, and that's by adding in some outdoor space and open up your interiors to the outdoors.
Yeah. Although that back space butts up to, you see all that multiple parking in the back.
yes.
Mhm.
There's, an apartment building all around me. That's why,
Yep.
so
You know how you handle that. You see these big trees, you would never
Yeah.
be able to see your backyard with these big trees. There's
Yeah.
trees that we can plant along the back of the wall here that will
Yeah.
create all the privacy that you need.
And keep in mind, this is just one idea we have. We can always
Yeah.
flip this to the backside and then have the yard area be facing your home. So it's almost like they
Yeah.
have a common. So there's various ways we can approach it.
yeah, got
But
it.
you
Got it.
certainly have the land space to be able to have options, and that's the key here. You have a beautiful lot in a great area, and it could really pay dividends for you if you
Right.
plan it right.
So what I'd love for you to do, if you can do this for me, we're going to be reaching out to everybody on this webinar. We'll reach out to all of you and we're going to explore all of your properties together. And we might not do it live tonight. We might not have enough time to take care of everybody tonight, but what we're going to do is everybody's going to get their own private phone call and we'll discuss their ADUs and their
Absolutely.
potential here.
Absolutely.
Now I'm going to go back to our next announcement that we have for the night. This is really exciting. Let me bounce over to here
This is kind of a first of its kind of a
It
thing,
is,
isn't
it
it?
is, it
Yes,
is,
we're
yeah.
ADU
exploring
Resource
something
Center. While
brand new.
Mike is doing that, ADU Resource Center, we've been around for a number of years now, and we're probably one of the largest, if not the largest ADU builder in Southern California. We have over 400 projects either completed, in construction now, or in the design phase. So we have projects in all phases going on. So, and one of the ideas we came up with is, how do we show more people the work that we do and the amazing opportunities available. So
How does it sound to be able to come out and actually see some of these ADUs with your own eyes? It's kind of hard to explore what can be built, what can you do without being able to see, touch, and feel. And we know it's a tough decision to make without having that opportunity.
sometimes it can be, yes.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do is put together our own bus tour. So with this ADU private bus tour, what we're going to do is we're going to invite the next 60 people, and people will be signing up throughout this entire webinar to take up these 60 spaces on our bus tour. We're going to go out and we're going to explore 3 ADU projects. We'll go and visit them. We'll go and walk around. We'll see, touch, feel. We'll have a nice little breakfast first. We're going to go out and visit each one of these projects.
Absolutely. And here's the great part. You don't have to do anything other than just show up to our offices. We'll put you in 3 different buses. We'll drive you to those 3 different projects. You'll have an opportunity to see those projects firsthand, ask any questions, take pictures, do whatever you want just to get a great idea. Then once that's done, we'll come back to our home office. We'll be serving an amazing lunch for everyone.
That's going to be a treat.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And we'll be happy to answer any additional questions and concerns and whatever else you want to discuss with us.
Right. So we'll be able to do exactly what we're doing tonight, is pull up a satellite view of your property. We'll be able to take a look at your project and see what's feasible, see what we can do. Might even share a couple properties that we've already completed that are similar to yours, so you'll have a good idea of what you can do. And then we'll also have some extra people that will join us for this event. We'll have Meredith.
Meredith is going to be joining us.
is going to join us at this event. She's going to be here to answer all of your lending questions.
Absolutely.
And then we'll also have contractor on site that you can talk to if you've got construction questions. We'll have structural engineers and an architectural design team. We're going to have every resource that you could possibly imagine to answer all of your questions throughout this.
Absolutely. So start writing your questions now and start preparing for that, because we're going to hopefully have all of the answers for you by the end of this tour. And you're going to be, your bellies are going to be full with this amazing food, and, the space is going to fill up fairly quickly. So I would suggest that if you're really serious about moving forward with an ADU and you're really considering it or have been thinking about it, this is a great opportunity to see everything at firsthand and be able to touch and feel, and really, like Michael is saying, talk to us, talk to Meredith, talk to our contractors, and really get the nuts and bolts of what it's going to take. And if you feel comfortable, we can move forward,
Oh, wow. The spaces are filling up fast too. They are. So I would encourage you, jump on this right away. We've got about 10 spaces left. If for some reason that there isn't a space available for you, if there's some reason there isn't a space available for you, we will be having we'll keep track of people that are still interested. And if somebody falls off,
like standby, because sometimes people might drop off here and there, depending, something happens last minute.
We'll be able to give you a call and get you in. But man, this is exciting. If you want to join, Vic, you've got the information there up there too. Perfect.
Yes.
All right. And
imagine walking away with all your answers and being able to jump into your project with confidence.
right.
Yeah, I just want to let everybody know there's a link in the chat. If you want to join the bus tour, you can click on that link and register right there.
Very good. Very good. Thank you.
So should we tell them the big prize thing?
Uh-oh. We've got a surprise. We got
a big surprise. So out of everyone that participates in this bus tour and sees all the ADUs, we're gonna have one lucky winner who's going to win free design on us. It's just going to be a raffle pick, essentially. We're going to put our names in put your names into a box and then draw it out. And if you're that lucky person that gets their name pulled, guess what? We're going to give you free architectural designs on the house, and that's like a $12,000 value.
That is, we'll be able to put together your architectural set of plans. We'll do your
Absolutely.
structural engineering, your Title 24, your LID, and we'll be able to permit this through the city. Now, there's going to be a couple things that you'll have to take care of. For instance, you still got to take care of your city fees along the way. And
Well, those are given. Unfortunately, the cities charge what they charge. It has
Right,
no-
right.
But at least you don't have to pay for an architectural set of
Correct,
plans and
correct.
structural and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So you'll have an opportunity to do this. And so it's a great opportunity. And, listen, 1 in 60 chances is way better than, buying the lotto out there. What are the chances
What
of
are the
winning the
chances of
lotto,
winning
the
that?
super
Yeah.
lotto? But like
All
1
right.
in 18 million?
Yeah.
So,
So, yep, this is the best deal around. Join us on this bus tour. We're going to have a great time. We're going to come out. We're going to go see some ADUs. You're going to love it. You're going to see this and go, oh, that's exactly what I wanted. And we'll be able to put this together for you. We'll come back to the office. You'll ask all the questions that you need, and we'll get started with your ADU project. I'm really excited. I can't wait to have you join us.
yes.
If it fills up, don't worry, we're going to be giving people a call if there's spaces become.
Well, who knows? We may do another one just in case if we get overwhelmed
Maybe,
with the
maybe.
demand. Yeah.
Now this is a huge thing for us and we're doing these big prize giveaways because this is our first one, right? It's an
Absolutely.
amazing first event. So,
Absolutely. So you don't want to miss this
like,
opportunity.
I don't know if we're doing free plans every time. That might be
Well,
but for our first time, we're really excited to kick this thing off with a bang. Sign up for the tour, and I can't wait to see you guys there.
yeah. So the link is there. Sean just put it up there. So if you're interested, hurry up. The spaces are filling fairly quickly, and go ahead and click the link, and that'll allow you to register for the bus tour. And it's coming up fairly quickly. So in a few weeks.
Yep. Oh yeah, the date.
May 18th.
May 18th.
Saturday.
Yes, Saturday. We got it's a couple weekends away.
2 Saturdays away from this coming Saturday. So May 18th, and it's going to come up very fast. So go ahead and plan this, block out some time. Really, it's something if you're really considering building an ADU and you've been on the fence, you're not sure to move forward. This is the opportunity for you to kindly get over that hump and say, yes, I want to do this. And once you see our projects, once you see how easy we make it for you, believe me, you'll want to continue forward.
So some people had a couple questions. It begins at our office. Our office is in Glendale. So we're going to have free parking here. You come, you park, we'll get together for breakfast, have a little meet and greet, and then we'll take off on the tour from there. All right.
So sounds good. I'm looking forward to May 18th.
Yeah, we are excited. So I think that's pretty much it for today. I mean, we'd love to hear some questions. If you have any questions for us, we'd love to maybe answer some of those questions. If you have anything that maybe we haven't covered or haven't thought of, please feel free to maybe write us a question, see if we can answer that, or have one of our
Daniel and Sean and everybody have done a great job in chat. So if you haven't looked at the questions take a look at that. Good questions.
Perfect.
Oh, okay.
If you guys have any questions, if you have any concerns, we've been texting you, we've been emailing you. You can always respond to our text or emails. It goes right to a live person. We look forward to talking to you very soon. And like I said, if it does fill up, there will be we will be keeping track of how many people sign up, and we'll be keeping a list of people that are interested. And if somebody,
so don't worry if you don't get in. Well, we're going to have a wait list. Because obviously sometimes what happens, like with anything else, even airplanes, you're flying on an airplane, there's a standby list because sometimes people don't show up and so forth. So things change in people's lives. So feel free, even if, you think there's not going to be space, we'll figure something out for you guys. Okay. Go ahead and register because it is going to fill up fairly fast. And it's like I said, it's 2 weeks away and that's going to come up faster than we realize. So.
Yep.
All right.
Very exciting. All right. Well, I think that's about it for tonight. That's about it. And I really look forward to seeing you guys on the bus tour. And if you've got any questions about ADUs, and if for whatever reason you can't make this bus tour, I know sometimes it's a Saturday. You might have
happens.
Plans. I understand. Then what I can have for you guys is please still just give us a text message. we can reach out to you and we can talk about the similar things, maybe share with you some videos of our existing
Mhm,
projects
mhm.
over a Zoom call. And we can do a lot of the things that we showed you tonight, where we go on Google Earth and we'll explore your property. We'll talk about some of the opportunities for ADUs, and we'll share with you maybe some pictures, some videos of a project similar to yours. If we can't do it on the bus tour, I understand. If you're not able to make it, you can still reach out to us. We can still help take care of you, but hey, there's nothing like seeing it live in person.
Absolutely. And 3 ADUs all at once, not
Three
just
of them,
one.
three of
You
them.
know, every month we do open houses when we have one of our ADUs completed or close to being completed. We usually do an open house, but that gives you an opportunity to see one. And unfortunately, we don't have one every Saturday, but we try to have one almost every Saturday. But this gives you the opportunity to see three different ones all at the same time, depending on what your needs and likes or design ideas are. So it's really something that you don't want to miss. So
Now,
let us know.
even if we do show an ADU, maybe one a weekend, a couple times a month, you don't always get that opportunity to come out and meet a lender in person or meet a contractor in person and talk to them.
Or a
live.
structural engineer in
Structural
person.
engineer, yeah, that's
Or
a-
have the
that's a
great
huge-
lunch that we're gonna have. So
Hey, seriously, guys, the food is going to be amazing. You
Yeah,
gotta join me.
so-
I'm there for the food.
absolutely. All right. So thank you. Hey, this has been great. So I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed it. Meredith, thank you for joining us. And
My pleasure.
thank
Great
you,
job, you
everyone.
guys. Tanny would be proud.
Thank you. Thank you. That was a thank you. I
We'll
appreciate
see
you
you guys
saying
on
that.
May 18th at the tour.
Yeah, we'll see you, every one of you at the tour. Thank you for joining this webinar, Mike. It's
Yep.
been great,
It's
man.
been great.
Had a lot of fun.
We got a little bit of an outro video to share with you.
Yeah.
It's going to be a quick little run through our office, and thank you very much for attending.
All right.
Good night.
See you guys soon. See you on the bus tour. Take care.
Thank you.
Okay, we have one last item before we wrap it up for tonight's show. Please stay on 2 more minutes and meet the architectural design team in a short video and tour of our offices in Glendale. We hope you'll subscribe to our monthly webinar as we have new ideas on ADU design tips, value engineering ideas, controlling your construction budget, and listening to new speakers each month to get a variety of advice and recommendations for your own ADU projects. Thanks for coming, and we'll see you next month. Welcome, friends, to ADU Resource Center in beautiful downtown Glendale, California, right on Brand Avenue in the U.S. Bank Building, where we have plenty of free parking. Come on up to the 5th floor and say hi to our design team. While we take a short elevator ride up, I'll tell you a little bit about our company and what our services are. ADU Resource Center is a one-stop shop, and that simply means we take care of everything relating to the project. That means anything from architectural designs, structural engineering, Title 24 energy calculations, low-impact development calculations, and permit expediting. The design team is on staff. We do everything on the 5th floor, and as we walk into the building, you'll notice 2 conference tables for our customers so they can come down and sit with us and design and look at the big screen and figure things out together. During peak season, we might have several customers in at the same time, so we offer private rooms so that we can keep privacy and noise down. This is our private conference room with a beautiful view of the San Gabriel Valley Mountains, and what a view. Does it help us design better with inspiration? Oh, you better believe it does. So the next room we're going to go into is the architectural design room, where Santa's little helpers do all their magic. Well, that about wraps up our quick office tour. I hope you enjoyed it. Here's the printer where we print out all your plans. Come on down to ADU Resource and let us help get started on your design today.